And joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a man who's written a book about something that is pretty important, and I think a lot of people are becoming more of entrepreneurs. It's called An Entrepreneur's Manifesto. We're joined today by Steve Mariotti, who is the founder of the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. He's based up in the New York, New Jersey area. He joined us by telephone right now. And Steve, good to talk with you. How are you today?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, good to have a chance to chat with you for a couple of minutes. I think we're seeing in the last few years more of an interest of people, maybe out of necessity in some cases, but becoming entrepreneurs, whether on a large level or a small level. Have you found that to be true?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I first entered the field of entrepreneurial education in 82, there was almost no awareness of small business entrepreneurship as a career path. And in the last, 32, 33 years, it has boomed, thank God. And our business rate formations are up significantly all around the world with the fall of, the communist totalitarian systems in most of the world, thank God. And there are now 25 million small business owners in America alone, and in China, and India, and Russia, Europe, Africa. Entrepreneurship has become, I think, the competitive advantage of the human race. I mean, that's really what is going to create a lot of wealth, and it's booming, and I'm really happy to be a small part of it.
You mentioned, some of the countries that formerly, didn't have a lot of business. Talking about the communist countries, but also I think the rise of the internet too. That has helped a lot of small businesses get the word out, and that has helped as well, right?
Huge. The internet, I think, has been perhaps since the printing press the biggest invention ever, and we're only a small way into it. We're gonna, over the next 20, 30, 40 years, we're gonna really take it to another level, and I think it's our best chance to communicate with the world about the free enterprise system. And I think in 5-10 years we're going to go to a whole nother level. I'm a big optimist about this century.
Let's talk about the book, the Entrepreneur's Manifesto. First of all, how did you put it together? I guess it's from your experience as a teacher, but talk a little bit about how you put it together.
Thank you. Well, I've been, this is my 35th book. It's my first one for adults. I spent the 80s as a special ed teacher in the South Bronx. My specialty was kids in the prison system or foster care, in poverty. And for 7 years, I developed the ideas of how to teach someone who's in poverty to sell and create a small business. It was a great way to teach math, reading, writing as well. In 87, I founded an organization called the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, which has been spectacularly successful. It's all over the world now. The website is www.nfte.com. We've got an incredible management team. I've retired, and I'm still as cheering them on and love them. But I did that for 28 years, and we have teachers in 50 countries, offices in 10 in America. I think we have 13 offices and 4 licensees, and we work with about 60,000 kids a year, teaching them how to start a small business. Almost all of them low income.
I was going to say that I grew up in New York, and you were taught in one of the toughest places to teach. So God bless you for that.
Thank you. It was called Fort Apache back then.
Yes, I've heard of it. Oh well.
Thank you. What high school did you go to?
I grew up in Long Island, but a friend of mine was a teacher in that area, so he told me some stories. So I know that was a tough place to teach.
Yeah, and they were great years for me. But it was, it was. Particularly in the 80s, we almost lost New York City. I mean, the violence. And fortunately, New York, is booming and an incredible place to live and I think raise children as well. But that's good to know. This book I've been thinking about since really 82, 83, and I just didn't have an opportunity to write it. And this past year, it just flowed out of me, and it just came out last week, and it's a huge seller in the first 9 days, 10 days. And my goal is to, get it distributed as widely as possible globally. My publisher is Templeton Press, an incredible editor, Susan, and a lot of help for it. A lot of people gave me ideas and feedback. But it's really a direct response to the Communist Manifesto, which had never directly been responded to. And it's a call for a worldwide revolution with people that are, particularly for people that are low income, and really get them into the free enterprise system and into a democratic society. So, I'm very proud of it, and I really hope your listeners will go on Amazon, where it's sold out 10 days, and big reorder, and Barnes & Nobles, and order a hard copy or a Kindle copy, and they like it, recommend it, and get it to as many people as possible. The last chapter is seminal. It's the Entrepreneur's Bill of Rights, the 10 things that every person in the world should have a right to as far as entrepreneurship.
I always thought, and as most kids, at least where I grew up, I think it's kind of universal. You started either a lemonade stand, or I did cut lawns, and you kind of become an entrepreneur just kind of by doing it naturally, and it kind of loses something along the way because they don't teach that in high school. I always thought there should be a class or a couple classes on how to run a business, how to handle your business affairs. That seems to be lacking in the school system. So I'm glad you've done this.
It's a tragedy, isn't it? I mean, I felt that. That's been my whole career for 33 years now, is that every kid in high school every kid in K-12 should get a class on how to start a small business and how the free enterprise system works. And the tragedy is we've got dropout rates of up to 70% in urban areas, and the kids universally tell the truth. The reason they drop out is because the curriculum it doesn't work for them. They want to talk about money and creation of success. The role models are Jay-Z and Beyonce and Sean Combs, and and the school systems don't meet that need, and it is that's my number one thing is entrepreneurship education for every child, rich, middle class, poor, so they have a potential career path to be owners. And if we did that, and in a generation we have 7 million people living, and hopefully it'll increase, and every person will have a business plan or a life plan, understand basic business, and they'll make better employees, they'll be happier. All the evidence says that people that are financially strong are happy, that wealth creation is actually one of the most important things with spirituality in your family to increase happiness.
Yeah, I agree. I think the country was built on entrepreneurship, and I think it's good to get kids involved. But even if you're not a kid anymore, I think you can get some good tips out of the book. And it's called An Entrepreneur's Manifesto. We've been talking with Steve Mariotti today. Give out your website again, Steve. People can get a hold of you and the book.
Absolutely. It's www.stevemariotti.com, and the name of the book is An Entrepreneur's Manifesto. My last name is spelled Mariotti. I love to get emails. My email is stevemariotti@gmail.com. And again, the book's name is An Entrepreneur's Manifesto. And I hope your listeners will read it on Kindle or hard copy, and let me know what they think.
Great. Steve, pleasure talking to you, and good luck with the book. And please keep in touch through Elise over at The Publicist. We'd love to have you back on when your next book comes out.
Awesome. Thank you.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or Doug Miles Media.